All right, we are recording a combined team call tonight, and I'm so very excited to be partnering with my good friend Lauren Sims today. So, what I wanted to just start out with is for my team, I'm going to be posting our top 10 Disney point earners tomorrow. So keep tracking your points. I'm sure Lauren's team's tracking and working hard for that too. Super exciting to see the numbers start to really come on in now as people shoot for the 10,000 points. And so I'll be posting that tomorrow. But for tonight, we are focusing on two of the most important skills you will ever learn in network marketing, and that is enrolling and creating leadership. And it's really funny. You tend to be really good at one of the many skills, and then you really try to learn and master some of the other ones. And I've had some time with Lauren, and her gifting is she can enroll like it's nobody's business. It's just unreal to me. And so I'll pick her brain still to this day. I still pick her brain. We just had a conversation a couple weeks ago, and then she'll pick my brain. And that's what really great leaders do, guys. You figure out what your strengths are, what your weaknesses are, what you need to improve on, and then you find those people that are really good at that, and you learn from them. You ask them questions, you do what they do, you model them, and eventually you start learning those skills as well. So let me first start by introducing Lauren, and then we'll get started. She's going to take the first segment of this, and I've got several questions to ask of her to share with you. And welcome to the whole Lauren Sims team. We're so excited you guys are here with us tonight as well, and it's so cool to do this as a combined effort. So Lauren is an Isagenix Start Ambassador, Start 1000. She's a 5-star Golden Circle, 6-star Crystal Executive. So even though she will tell you she's better at enrolling, she's created 6 Crystal Executives. So that's pretty darn good in my book, and I think that's amazing. She's a Colorado native. So we were just talking about Colorado. I've got some team members there right now. Katie's heading there. She loves to work out, cook, shop, hang with friends and family, and is a huge Bronco fan. Her background and passion is fitness and health. She is a clinical nutritionist who has retired herself from that and does Isagenix full-time now. She's a fitness professional, both a personal trainer and group fitness instructor for 15 years. She's kicked my butt in the gym a couple times, so I can attest to her being an unbelievable trainer. She has earned multiple awards with Isagenix. And what I can tell you about Lauren is that she is so stinking down to earth. She was actually on a trip, I believe, with Kelly Heimbach on our team and Erica Zinman. And she is so lovable. Just tells it how it is. You know exactly where you stand with this girl. She'll tell you exactly, what it is. And I love that. I really appreciate that. And she really has been a big help to me and just has become a really dear friend to me. So welcome, Lauren.
Thank you so much. You're so sweet. And I'm actually sorry that I hopped on. I told you I'd be here a couple minutes earlier. I was actually enrolling somebody and I was like, oh my gosh, I gotta go. But thank you for all those really sweet words. And you guys, it's so fun to be on here. And thanks for including my team and kind of doing this little marriage of teams. I know both Cindy and I really promote and advocate this one team model, and we all have so many strengths and weaknesses, and this company is that's what will get us to be the largest health and wellness company in the world, and we just keep locking arms and learning from each other. And I know Cindy absolutely has some questions for me, and I will reciprocate and give her a kind introduction halfway through, but this came about, you guys, literally because I messaged Cindy and I said, you are amazing at developing leaders. And I said, I can enroll a lot. I think I've enrolled 100 people in the last few months. And I said, but we don't have the same duplication, and I was asking her, how are you incentivizing your team, or how are you duplicating? And so she turned it around, and almost simultaneously was kind of we should do this call. We should have probably just recorded this conversation, and that's why we're all on here. So I hope you guys had a really awesome holiday weekend. For those of you that don't know me, I think it's always just fun to share a little bit about my story, just so that you guys can kind of know where I'm coming from and why I think I found out how to enroll and why I still love to do it. But about 5 years ago, and next week is my 5-year anniversary with Isagenix, I was so overworked, you guys, so overwhelmed. I was working a ridiculous amount of jobs. I tell people I worked more jobs in a day than most people work in their life. And that sounds like a joke, but that's literally what it felt like. So before sunrise until almost sunrise the next day, from boot camps to bartending to waiting tables to running my nutrition business. I worked in a doctor's office. I mean, I was all over the place trying to bury myself out of 100 grand in debt. Most of it was student loans, but some of it was credit card debt, in conjunction with not really choosing high paying salaries. Like nutritionists don't make a lot of money. We're in that massage therapy kind of teacher realm. No matter how much you love people, it is what it is. And so I found myself just on this circus of exchanging time for money. And in the process, I was also running away from network marketing companies. I was like, I don't want your stuff. I went to everybody's party and was like, I don't want to sell jewelry. I don't want to sell mascara. I don't want to sell Tupperware. I was like, please don't make me do this. And I also was learning about them because I had people bringing Tupperware things into my office of product, or they were bringing in canisters. And I was like, where'd you get this? Because I knew it wasn't a nutraceutical, something that practitioners have. I knew I hadn't seen it at Whole Foods or like Complete Nutrition, the sports nutrition stores. So I was learning about companies and looking at all the products that had poor ingredients. And Isagenix was a literally unanswered prayer in my life. I mean, it was the biggest one, but I wasn't looking for it. It like literally feels like it dropped in the heavens at the most perfect time for me. And at my rock bottom, and this amazing gift. And I got into massive action. At the time, what was called 5K in 5 weeks, which we now talk about as fast track to executive. I saw those rank advancement bonuses and I was like, well, no one's ever offered me $5,000 before that fast. Like, how many spin classes do I have to teach to do this? How many, hours did I have to work at the restaurant? How many clients did I have to see? And I was like, I have to do this. And the number one way to start rank advancing people, obviously, is to start enrolling people. And the other part that I saw was our double PIBs. And if you guys don't understand our double PIBs, start there, because there's so much generosity and bonus money. And I built my business on double PIBs. Like, I literally, the first 3 months, I tell people I lived off double PIBs. So for those of you that don't even know what I'm talking about, the product introductory bonus, which I like to think of as the referral rebate on any one of our qualifying packs, so the 30-day and above, $25 bonus and above, 2 or more of them in the same commission week, Monday through Sunday, double. So if you have a value pack, you guys, the PIB on the value pack is $100. It used to be $80, now it's $100. So if you sell anything else, you get a second person started, that 100 will go to 200. It doesn't have to be a value pack. It can be a 30-day. And the 30-day PIB is 25, that will go to 50. So instead of just $100, you now have 250. If it was 2 value packs, you'd have 400. And when I was going, you guys, I went really fast. And I want to make a point to you that I did not do 2 things that most people think I did in the first 6 months to a year of my business. Number one, I didn't use social media because I was horrified of it and horrified that not of what people were going to think of me, but I literally thought I was going to get fired. I was like, if the doctors find out I'm in a shake thing, if they think I'm in an MLM, like, the doctors will fire me. Like, I literally thought that, which is not true. I actually enrolled them and they still do this with me, but I did think that. And the second thing, I thought my patients or my clients were going to think I had like ulterior motive. I didn't really understand that like Isagenix paid me and not them. And I thought that I was like double dipping, like they paid me and then I sold them something. So I was like, I can't talk to my clients or patients. I can't use social media. There's a lot of people out there and I got to get busy. And so I put that out there because part of the skills that we have to learn of network marketing, connecting, building relationships, overcoming objections, I had to do that so early on because the post and pray method wasn't available for me. Like, I kind of ixnayed that in the beginning. And so in the beginning, when I was talking to people and I saw those bonuses, I remember someone telling me, and you guys, I wish I could remember. I like have the Isagenix University in my head all the time in my car, like when I'm showering, when I'm cooking. So I don't know if it was Zach Slobin or Lynn Hagedorn or Travis Garza or, Susan Sly, but I heard that it was 10 conversations for 1 enrollment. So if you wanted double PIBs, you have to talk to 20 people. And granted, that gets better, I think, as you get more skilled at this, or you start to pre-qualify people, or you're attracting in the right type of leads. But if you're new, or you are into your cold market, or you've kind of run through your warm market, or you're in that rut, if you're like, wow, I just don't know where to find people, I feel like no one's naturally coming to me, like maybe they did in the beginning when you had a transformation. I remember hearing that, and I still think about this to today, because there will people say, oh my gosh, I'm getting my 2 this week. And I'll talk to them and I'll say, well, how was it? They're like, oh, well, the girl at work didn't call me back and my neighbor had to get new tires, so she'll do it next month. And I go, well, who else? And they go, well, that's all I talked to. I'm like, well, you better have 18 more people that we need to talk to this week. And so when you guys are thinking about how to enroll, you're not going to call 20 people on Sunday. Let's just be realistic. I mean, I know Cindy is a marathon runner, but most of us like to run 20 to 25 miles throughout the week or throughout the month, not all in one day. Like, I love her for that. But the same thing with your business. It's much better to talk to 3 to 5 people every single day than being like, okay, on Saturday, I'm going to call everybody, because it doesn't give you time to regroup, keep your energy up, keep your state up, to follow up. And so I personally like to plant my week really heavy. I do a text blitz on Sunday night, or I reach out to a lot of people Monday or Tuesday. Like, I'm excited, I'm fired up, I've got all week to get things going. Do a lot of follow-ups throughout the middle of the week. And towards the end, create the urgency. So especially weeks that we've got promos, like this week you have free membership, to go out there, something that's creating the urgency, something that gets them to have that FOMO feeling. So I think you probably saw a lot of Isagenix teams are doing some type of fall into fitness, fall back into health, fall into wellness, something that we're obviously still coaching the 30-day system, but we're doing some type of marketing branding to generate leads. So my team did a Fall Fit Fun campaign. And like literally over the weekend, I was messaging people saying, hey, I'm putting in a couple orders right now. We start on Tuesday. I don't want you to miss out. But if you're ready, let me know. And I have my IsoLife app like ready with everything loaded in the cart to just send them the link. But I wasn't necessarily putting in orders, but they don't know that. They don't know if I was for a team. They don't know who else I got started. It could have been my own order. It could be auto ships that are going through. Like, oh my gosh, okay, all these other people are doing it. It's time to get going. And you want to kind of create that FOMO. Same thing, like towards the end of the week, people that I've reached out to this week, I'm like, okay, I'm thinking about you. Our Fall Fit Fun campaign started. You would be perfect for this. In a few days, I'm like, hey, I don't know if you saw the post. We've got free membership. Like, everybody loves the deal. You got your wholesale account for the next 12 months. Like, what's keeping you from getting started right now? Like, some people won't even ask that question. By asking the question, the objection, and then you know how to help them. So when I ask people that, I'm like, I know you want to do this. We've been talking about this forever. What is keeping you from getting going right now? And someone says, wow, I'd really love to do it, but I just think it's a lot of money. Okay, so now we're back to working on the value of the pack, and we're showing them where they're already spending money so we can reallocate into their Isagenix system. Getting them to understand that they're spending money on pedicures, that maybe they can spend an Isagenix, that they're spending money at Starbucks or eating out or their regular grocery bill or whatever that is. But if they say, wow, I really want to do it, but my husband thinks it's one of those things, like he's not really supportive, then you can say, could I send you some information that maybe he could look at? I used to feel the same way. Would it be okay if I, gave you some information, you could talk to him about it, that he would feel more comfortable about your decision? Someone says to you, like, I really want to do it, but I've got 3 weddings this month and I feel like I'm not going to get results because I can't follow it 100%, right? And we can talk about the 80-20 rule or those types of things, sometimes just asking that question. So I know, Cindy, I think you had some really specific questions on even just like what, where I'm meeting people or what I'm saying. And so I'll let you do that. I just want to answer Renee's question, and then we can kind of role play a little bit here. And if you guys want to type stuff in the chat, I'm reading it. But Renee, it really depends on what it is. So if they're skeptical about the quality of the products, like, oh, one of those companies, they don't ever have quality products. I try to show our clinical research, that we're 16 years old. We're not a company who's a startup and in the risky 2-3 years trying to make it. I'll send a slideshow we put together of transformations of everybody I know. If they're worried more on just the business, some of the accolades we have, the Stevie Awards, the Inc. 500, areas that Isagenix has been recognized. I mean, the city of Gilbert has Isagenix Day. Like, how many network marketing companies actually have their own holiday? So there's just things to be able to introduce to them that they look at us and they see it as valid. But again, it depends if they're more concerned about the company or if they're more concerned about the products.
Awesome. All right. So I'm going to definitely backpedal just a little bit. It sounded like when you got started here, you were still slightly skeptical. You had definitely things that you were concerned about, but you had pretty a pretty fiery why. You wanted to stop doing 15 jobs and really do one thing and do one thing well. So how important do you think the why is? A lot of people are here because they want the money aspect of it. They want to change the financial blueprint of their families. Some people are here and they have healthy financial blueprints already. So how important is that why and getting to the heart of it when you're really trying to make this work?
Absolutely. And I think it's huge, but the why is up to you. The why doesn't need to be compared to anybody else. And you're looking at your why now and then like your long-term why, like immediately, and then planning for the things that you don't necessarily know what's coming. And so when I think about like the immediate why, I mean, some of the rags to riches story in Isagenix, Tracy O'Malley or Deanna Falchuk or Laura Stevens, some of these stories, they were pressed up so far against a hard and a rock, that they had to do something. But not everybody was like that. My friend Tom Siddons, who's a Start 1000 member as well, CG Siddons' little brother, he'll say, the only thing that's keeping you from a great life is a good life. Like sometimes that mediocre, that complacency, that comfortable place is what's holding you back. But the why doesn't have to be finances. So my mentor, Janie Elo, who's the upline of Trudy Maples and, Laura Stevens and Tanya Kirkpatrick and Jill Bowman and Tracy O'Malley, Jessica Rigner. I mean, she has coached and mentored so many people. She wasn't motivated by money at all. She married a guy who played in the NBA for just nearly 2 decades. Finances wasn't their motivation at all. But she was a little bit bored, after she became an empty nest, but she really found fulfillment in this. I mean, she saw it as a mission, and she literally said, like, this is a mission-based opportunity that has a compensation plan attached. And so she became so motivated to free all these women and say, I've had this luxurious, amazing life. Like, these moms deserve to be home with their kids. That was totally different than what got me into action. So it's a little bit different for everybody. And so sometimes it's service-based. Sometimes people are really competitive. Some people want it for recognition. Like, I've got a couple girls on my team that they just feel so unseen and so unheard that it's a place they get to be celebrated. It's a place that someone's like, good job. They get to be a part of this community, this culture. So there's a lot of different things, I think, in this urgency. Whether you're taking your family on a trip, it's debt, it's a savings account, it's fun, it's fulfilling. I mean, we really are impacting lives. And when I have other team members telling me what Isagenix has done for them, like, that fires me up so much, because I think about my story and this broken girl, 5 years ago. And if Janie hadn't reached out to me, and I'll think, like, what if I hadn't reached out to so-and-so? What would their life be like? Like, sometimes that keeps me going. But when I think long-term with this, you guys, I just did a Facebook Live actually in my page, like so unfiltered and unscripted, and I bawled my eyes out. And like Cindy says, people just know exactly how I am. I'm not really a crier. I'm more like a direct tough, and I mean, bawled my eyes out. But my dad has Parkinson's, and he's kind of at the end of things. And about 3 weeks ago, we had a really tough conversation. And he's only 66 and was like, I worked my whole life, and this is not what retirement's supposed to be like. He's only been retired for 2 years, and he's been sick the whole time. And a bucket list of things that he wanted to do that he never did because he was working. It's the same status quo that we all know is go to school, maybe go to grad school, work for 40 years and retire on fixed income. And I would have followed in the exact same shoes had I not known of Isagenix. And I've done more in my early 30s than I'd done in the first 3 decades of life because of Isagenix. And so I think about that. No one could have planned for that. I mean, his life insurance or savings or whatever it was, he's fine. It wasn't ever about the money. But if he had had time in a decade or 2 of his life because of network marketing back, how different that would have looked. And sometimes I get excited about that now. So thinking into the future, and that's why life insurance agents are so good at what they do, because no one knows when you're going to get something dropped in your life. No one knows when tragedy is going to happen. The financial security now of a job could change. That it's so important, Cindy, so important.
Yeah, that's beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. Okay, so let's start with where do you find all these leads, so that'll help new people, but also you've been at this now for 5 years and you just enrolled 100 people. Come on. So for those of us that have been around for a while, how do you continually get new leads?
You're so sweet. And I wanted to just say one other thing because I got a little sidetracked, but the why, you guys, that's what keeps you from your short-term distractions is the long-term focus. If you don't have what you're doing, you're going to go to happy hour, you're going to go to Taco Tuesday, you're going to watch football, you're going to watch movies with your kids, any of that stuff. The why is what's going to say, you know what I care about in the future matters more than right now. It's giving up the short-term sacrifices for the long-term result. So I talk to everybody, like literally everybody. And on purpose, a lot of times, like I don't do things like self-checkout or U-scan because I'm missing opportunities to talk to people. Because if I'm in line in the grocery store, I'm going to get to know the person in front of me and the person behind me. And I've been like this since I was a 2-year-old. So I know for some of you that's so awkward, but for me that wasn't. Like my mom will tell you I did this as a toddler. So I'll literally start talking to people, and I use Eric Worre's script in terms of the fact that I always start with a compliment. If I actually have something in mind that I'm going to prospect about, like if I see an item in their cart or they've mentioned something or I've heard something, I'm going to continue with his script that I'm in a hurry so that I can quickly get to the point without feeling rude or coming across as terse or insensitive. Otherwise, it's just a natural conversation. And I do this at the grocery store. I do this at the gym. I do it when I'm in the bathroom, sometimes at the restaurant, like no matter where it is. But women especially, we love purses, we love shoes. It's so easy to compliment someone on that. Sometimes just making eye contact and smiling. But the other is, I want you guys to understand that there's this idea of the intention of what you put out there. And I tell my team every single day, you can show up as a magnet or you can show up as a shield. And if your energy is bad and it's negative and you think everybody's going to think this is expensive and no one wants to buy anything from you, and you're airing all of your dirty laundry from the fight with your husband or the fight with the kids or whatever out with you, you're right. No one wants to buy anything and no one wants to be around you because you don't even want to be around yourself. But if you show up super excited, full of gratitude, happy about what you're doing, in love with life, in love with this opportunity, you're going to find that people will come up to you without even trying. People are going to gravitate to you and tell you, oh my gosh, I love your shoes. They're going to find some way to talk to you because they want to be a part of what you're doing, even though they don't know what it is. So part of this is even before you pick up the phone, before you message on Facebook, or before you leave your house, is just getting in the state, being open to allowing the right people to show up and having that space in your life. But when I am talking to people, it's always a compliment, in a hurry, in their information. So on purpose, you guys, I take Lyft and Uber all the time. Like I go to the airport a lot and there are people that want to take me and pick me up from the airport. And I'm like, no, it's a tax write-off if I get in a Lyft and I want to prospect somebody. I've yet to meet anybody driving for Lyft or Uber who's not doing it for extra money. Like I really don't know anyone who's just doing that for fun. So I'll get in the car, start asking questions. How long have you been driving for Uber? What do you like about it? What do you not like about it? These types of things. And I'll just say something like, if there was a way for you to earn the same amount of money without driving all around town, would you be open to learning how? Every single person says yes. And I'll do it right before I'm getting out. I'm like, well, obviously I'm here at my stop, but I was like, if I can grab your name and number, I'll text you later on this week. Or if we can connect on Facebook, I'll send you some more information. But it's putting yourself in front of people. No one's just going to drop Isagenix millionaires from airplanes into your backyard and they're going to knock on your door. It's just not going to happen. But when I fly, I sit in the middle, right? There's someone on both sides that I can talk to. When they start passing out pretzels and nuts, I've got bags of Whey Thins. I mean, it's being creative. I go places and I carry Ice of Delight. I carry e-shots. And not that I want to be this sample girl, but it's a point of conversation. So a lot of times, when I'm on my way into the gym, I'll see someone with a Red Bull. I will see someone with a Rockstar. And the feel, felt, found method is so important, you guys, to really relate with them. But I'll literally just say, I'm so sorry. This is probably going to sound weird. And I said, but I noticed your Rockstar. And I used to drink those all the time. Like I still to this day can't believe I'm not dependent on them. I said, but my cousin introduced me to something that I have the energy to get through this amazing workout, but I don't get the jitters and I don't crash afterwards. And I literally feel obligated to tell people about it because it changed my life so much. And they're like, oh my gosh, what is it? I'm like, well, here, try it. Tell me if you like it after class. I've yet to have someone take an e-shot and not come back and not like it. Right? It's like an immediate gratification feeling. They're like, oh my gosh, that was amazing. I'm like, awesome. What's your number? I'll call you later. I go to social events. I mean, this was something Cindy and I were talking about because of where she lives and she has to drive. But I go to networking events. I am the guest at BNI groups all the time. I don't necessarily join them, but I'm there. I go to different meetup groups that are for vegans, that are for women entrepreneurs, that are for whatever it is to build those relationships. And I don't go with the intention to enroll on the spot. And I don't go to do the shuffle and bustle of business cards because that's just annoying. But I do go to build the relationships and connect with people. And remember, you guys, if you are the captain of a football team or you are the coach and you are going to put your Super Bowl team together, you're going to put your winning team together, you're not selling Isagenix to everybody with a heartbeat and a pulse. The same way you're not going to put everybody who can catch or throw a ball into your team. Like, they're hand selecting these people. So if I go to a networking event that has 50 people in it, there might be 50 people that eat food that could all use Isagenix, but I'm looking for the person that is an influencer, that is fun, that's vibrant, that has good energy, that's, people want to be around, that's exciting, that people trust, that she's interesting, because I know that one person is going to have a way bigger effect than me selling shakes and having to cleanse coach 20 people that don't really necessarily want to be doing it anyways. Right? And after I find the next Cindy Walter or the next, Kelly or the next Erica or whatever that may be, I text them as soon as I leave. And I was telling Cindy this, I don't wait like a week or 2 weeks because they already forget who you are, even the next day. Like, whoever those are, I get home that night. Like, Kate, it was so fun to meet you tonight. I said, I loved your energy. I loved what you brought to the group. I'd love to get to coffee with you, figure out how I can best support you and tell you a little bit more about what I do. Right away, Holly, oh my gosh, I love getting together with you. I know we live super far from each other, but I want to hop on the phone with you. You've got to tell me more about your business, more about how I can support you. Nothing lifts me up more than supporting my tribe, that type of thing. So you've got to have the urgency right away.
Awesome. Okay, so one of the questions that came in was from my son, and it's on my list too. So you're constantly meeting people, connecting with people. I'm assuming you have some type of a list. So how do you track and follow up with your prospects?
So I am not the best person at this. I think about like Tracy O'Malley and Cindy Hedges and Janie say that they built $1 million business with a notebook and a pen. And sometimes I am just as guilty of this. I don't have any type of Excel sheets, and I don't have any type of contact managing systems. I do have a notebook. So I literally have a notebook, and when I get someone's number on a lift or like a bartender, I transfer it over into my Spiral notebook. So I'm keeping their name, their number, their email, and then a couple notes about them. So I can go back to it and be like, oh, Lisa was my Lyft driver on my way to San Antonio, or Nikki was the bartender at the pizza place when we were in Nashville, or, I can kind of go through and remember it. So it'll pick up my brain when I reach back out to them. Because let's say, I reached out to Nikki right away after Nashville and she wasn't interested. Maybe when we do our New Year challenge, I'm going back to her. I'm like, hey, I was in Nashville for this conference. You're our awesome server. Like, I know that our Fall into Fitness challenge wasn't the right timing for you, but we're doing blah, 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 right? So it helps me remember who they were, or I can find them on Facebook to jog my memory. But the number one thing that I do, and I've been teaching my team this for years and years, and I sent it to Cindy and I will resend it to her because I know new team members have showed up in her business since the last time we did this, is what I call my 3x3x3 sheet. And I adapted things that I learned from Susan Fly, from Rebecca Caffiero, that I've added to myself, but on one piece of paper, you guys. And I tell my team to print off 3 to 5 for the week. If it's full-time, 5. If you're part-time, 3. And on one sheet of paper, it is your 3 new contacts for the day, your 3 follow-ups, your 3 acts of service. Kelly's like holding this up. Your 3 acts of service, your social media, morning, noon, and night, your intention statements, your goals, and then 10 things you're grateful for. So on one sheet of paper. And so if today, which is very typical actually, most people have a lot of new conversations and not as many follow-ups. I tend to be the opposite. But if I were to look at my sheet and be like, oh my gosh, I called Christina and Pam and Valerie and Tiffany follow-ups, but I haven't talked to anybody new, right? It holds you accountable. So I'd be like, okay, I got to take a lift to Target, or I've got to get on LinkedIn, or whatever that may be. But you're constantly talking to your 3 people. So back to what I said, if you want 2 enrollments a week, you're talking to 20 people a week. This is how you know what you're doing. And so when it comes to the follow-ups, I usually just go to the weeks before. So if Lisa and Renee and Rachel I talked to last week, okay, they're perfect for my follow-ups right now. Plus you're writing your intentions right there. You're writing your goals, your gratitude. It's saying my internet connection is unstable. Am I freezing? Am I okay?
Not freezing, no.
Is it better? It just popped up. Is it better?
I hear you fine.
Okay. And so it's all on one sheet. And so like literally, you can check off like, oh, I did my morning post, my afternoon. I have not done my evening post yet. Hopefully someone's taking a picture of this call and tagging me. I'm just kidding. But like it's right there. And the intentions I can write out. Jessica Rigner has trained on this twice at ICU and Celebration, but we learned this from Eric Cooper at the same time. And the saying is, today I allow myself to attract people that are, and you fill in the blanks. So Tony Robbins always says, what you focus on, you find, or it'll find you. So on those intention statements, like today I allow myself to attract, and I'll think, what do I love about Cindy? Why would I want a Cindy Walter in my team? I want someone who's loyal. I want someone that's hardworking. I want someone who's compassionate, that's faith-based, that's a mom, that has a heart of service and is motivated. Today I allow myself to attract, and I'll say, what is Susan Sly? I'm like, who is a powerhouse, who commands the stage, who's an influencer, who gets things done. Today I allow myself, what's cool about Eric Cooper, who's innovative, who's fun, who's sexy, who's creative, and those types of things. And just like, you've probably heard the blue slug bug analogy, when you get your reticular activating system going, right? Someone has planted something in your subconscious brain. So if I say, think about a blue slug bug, you probably didn't see one today, but a good majority of us are going to see one in the next couple days because we planted that thought in there. When you do your intention statements and you're looking for influencers and people that are fun and faith-based and competitive and loyal and sweet, those people are going to find you, or you're going to find them. Because when you go into the yoga room, or you go into the spin room, or you go into church or the grocery store, you're not focused on the negative Nancy or the Sally or the grumpy person that didn't hold the door. You're drawn to the person that's like talking to everybody, who everybody wants to be around. She doesn't have enough time to catch up with the whole world or whatever. You're going to see that person and know exactly how Isagenix is going to serve them and why they're going to benefit for being a part of your team. So it's all on one sheet. And Tyler, that's really how I keep track of everything. And I just have binders full of it.
That's awesome. That's awesome. And that's the cool thing about this. There's no one right way. You have to find the way that works best for you. I've gone from a notebook where I had everyone listed, then I gave everyone a specific page, and then I would just keep track that way. Now I have the Eric Worre thing that I've been doing, and I just kind of switched to the 90-day action plan. So you just have to figure out what works for you and stay in action. I mean, that's the most important thing, is staying in action. All right. So I know we're going to be transitioning pretty quickly here, but you talked about this briefly in the very beginning, when you follow up with people and just come out and ask to get to the heart of the objection. And I think that is a difficult part for so many people. That's where they struggle. They've got leads, they've got people who have expressed interest, they follow up, they might hear crickets. So I would love you to just to kind of share maybe some of your verbiage around, if you were messaging me and maybe I just stopped messaging you back, I became quiet and a cricket, how would you follow up with me to get to the heart of that objection?
So I think that you have to be a little bit intuitive with the people you've talked to and be able to read the energy, like who's going to respond to humor, who's going to respond to your posture and your certainty, who's kind of giving you the runaround that you are just making them the choice, that they're not really ready for this, that you're not doing it. So I think it a little bit depends. So if like Kelly and I are really good friends, and she's been watching me forever and I talk about it and she's not really doing it, but she kind of asks questions, or I've given her samples or this and that, I literally might be like, hey, so I know it's the 101st time I've invited you to do a 30-day, but we're doing another one. I think you'd be great for it. Like, she's not going to be annoyed with me. She knows I'm excited about it, and I'll try and make a joke about it. Like I might say something along those lines of like, so it's the 775th time we've probably talked about Isagenix, but in case right now you were actually ready to be in love with what I'm in love with, like I never take people off my list. I never stop, whatever it is, why I think she'd be great for it, excited about it, I would tell her. If it's someone who's like reached out to you, oh, I saw, Cheryl's transformation on your wall. Can you tell me more about that? And you do, and they won't get on the phone with you, or you sent the video, and they're kind of crickets. Sometimes I go, hey, I miss messages all the time on Facebook. I just want to make sure you saw my reply. Or, hey, sometimes I, miss a text message. I just want to make sure you saw my reply. If I still get crickets like a day or two later, I'm like, hey, just want to let you know that I love helping people. Our company is amazing. I think this would be great for you. I really would love to chat with you, kind of pouring belief into them. And sometimes I'll literally just say, I was like, I'm just curious, were you serious when you reached out about wanting a transformation? Because I was serious about helping you with your transformation. Please let me know, because if you're not ready, that's fine, but I want to spend the time on people that are. And not everybody will be that direct, but I promise you, people respond to it. They're like, okay, I am, because it's the posture, it's the certainty. And if you're chasing people, I mean, it's just like the hunting thing at the animals. Like if you're chasing, the animal's going to run. They know they're being chased. It's like fishing. Like you want to plant the seed and reel them in. And so put the bait out there, but you've got to have this posture that they need you, because they do. You don't need them. You don't. There's an abundance of people out there who are ready to say yes to Isagenix physically and financially, that you want to have 100 people you followed up with 10 times, not 10 people you followed up with 100 times. And so literally just getting to that, asking if they're serious, making a joke, coming back with creative themes or things that you're doing with your team. I've gone back with the oils, I've gone back with Disney, but at the same point, I don't want to convince someone to do this. And I'll say that. I'm not here to convince you to do this. And if you're not ready, that's fine. Because at the end of the day, if you do, they're going to be unhappy. They're going to be a pain in the ass cleanser, and they're probably going to return. You want people that are going to be so excited about it, because they're going to get a great transformation, become a walking billboard, and become the next Isagenix millionaire, because it happened with ease. So before we switch here, you guys, I just want to wrap up with saying, number one, be realistic with the numbers of how many people you have to talk to. When I've told you that I've enrolled 100 people in the last few months, that is accurate. But I will tell you that I've had thousands of no's. Thousands of people that won't give me their number, thousands of people that don't want to be friends on Facebook, thousands of people that are probably annoyed with me or have unfriended me. Like I sit at 5,000 friends always on Facebook. So if I wake up and I'm at like 4,997, 4,998, I'm like, oh, someone unfriended me. And that used to hurt my feelings. It did. And now I'm like, okay, thank you for making space for the next Emily Vavra. I'm ready. I've got like 2 extra spaces to go find out on LinkedIn. That just know it's the number of people you talk to. Be excited about this. Go for the no. It's totally fine. They're not saying no to you. It's just the universe and God making space for you, for the right people to come into your business and come into your life. And just be rock solid that you are a messenger of such a big mission and such a big movement, that this is never about you. We are here to serve the Cougars because they've changed all of our lives. That's when we're here. And now we're on a mission to go out and help as many other people as possible to be a part of it. So when we tell you it is not about you, it is not about you. And you put on your service hat and not your selling hat, you will literally not be able to stop the amount of people that show up to your business. So Cindy, who I got to know awesome. So well in Mexico, and we really bonded because, number one, I flew through Mexico all by myself. And as a blonde, that's a little bit uncomfortable. When I was going through the domestic area and nobody spoke English, and the driver picked me up, and I was like praying that I was going to get to this hotel in Mexico City. And it was like a week after the earthquakes, and things were just crazy. And I got off and I saw Cindy, and I was like flew into her arms. I was like, oh, yeah, Isagenix family. But we really did get to hang out. And from that conference and then on the phone and different events since, she inspires me so much. And she inspires me because as sweet as she is and as kind as she is, she's got grit and she's got perseverance. And she is an Isagenix millionaire. She's a 9-star platinum. When I think about the millionaires in her organization, the leaders in her organization, that's a testament of her system, of her hard work, and truly, truly just what she pours into you guys, because she's one of those women that I know right now could stop today and her business would grow. But she says, oh my gosh, if this is what's happening for my family and I've got to pay this forward. And the fact that she gets on here week after week and in all those Facebook messages and Marco Polos, it's because she chooses to, and that's a blessing. And the fact that you guys get to learn from someone who's doing this because they want to and not because they have to, it does not get better than that. So Cindy, you have so much fun with your team, and you also really do a good job at empowering them, that I'd love for you to first talk to us, even just with your weekly calls, kind of what you do with like your leaders and the big team, that you are right away getting new leaders to rise up.
Yep. Okay. Awesome. So I couldn't love you anymore. You're just amazing. We could stop the call right here and everybody would be so excited. So I'm so thrilled. All right. So we do the team call, this team call every single Monday night. We typically do the team call, and it's for everyone. on the entire team. So we always try to, I try to interview top leaders like you, always bringing fresh perspectives in. So it's not just me doing all of the training and all of the talking. I think it's really great for people to know our system and what we have in place, but to learn from all the other leaders. So that's something we have for everyone. So we have our product page for our customers and our potentials, but we have our business page for everyone else and do these weekly team calls. We do whatever the company does. We do not recreate the wheel. If they're doing a 90-day action plan, we buy into the 90-day action plan. So we've all set our goals. Most of our top leaders are doing coaching calls and coaching groups with their teams to help them through the 90 days right now. Whenever there's an incentive like Disney, we work towards that. So a lot of our top leaders are doing calls. Their 90-day coaching calls also are working everyone towards Disney. So some of the things I do with my private coaching groups that I'm coaching, little things like, if they did their action plan from the week, I might send them a pair of Mickey Mouse socks with a handwritten card, or a $15 gift card to Disney. Just things like that. I think handwritten cards are still in hot demand. I often, when I send someone something, whether it be a card or a small gift, they will take a picture of it and put it on Facebook, and it's made their day. So, just keep that in mind when you're new and you're building. It does not need to be a Louis Vuitton bag that you're giving away to someone. It could be a simple handwritten note card with, I like to put little things in my cards. Like I buy these little note cards with dream, inspire, different things on them, and it has quotes in them, and I stick them in my cards. So just little things like that. So that's what we do for everyone. Everyone can fit in somewhere. No one's ever excluded from anything. If we've got someone that maybe doesn't have a leader that's super engaged doing coaching and they reach out, we all chip in and help. We are a team that is very good about being all in. So I have people that get on the phone with people they're not financially linked to and help each other within our team. It's awesome. And then I have our mastermind group. So this is for everyone. Once they've hit executive, we don't boot them out if they're not paid as. And we've got a huge crew of people. There's over, I think, 60 of us now that weekly we meet and we talk about what's going on with the team and what's going on in the company. So any incentives, any promotions, we talk about calls, who's going to be the guest on the call. We try to drive people to the calls. We might talk about our fall challenges that we're doing, and we come up with ideas. And typically we do one big group for our whole entire team. And this time we made a holding tank, and we have several leaders doing their own groups. And we really wanted to empower more people to be leaders this time. And instead of having, one or a group of, 4 to 6 people leading one big group for the whole entire team, we've got a lot of groups going on where there are several leaders really stepping into leadership. They're doing lives. They're looking like the leader to their prospects and to their brand new team members. So that's something new that we do. And we really just try to get people right out of the gates sharing. So every single person, once they are enrolled, they've already heard like I just enrolled someone today. Every time I enroll someone, or yesterday, I will talk to them about the IsaBody Challenge. Right away, as a customer, I want everyone to know about our referral rewards so they can get $600 a year in free products. And everyone is open to that. And I tell people, the two things people are worried about when it comes to the IsaBody is they've watched you post transformation pictures of people showing skin in either sports bras and shorts or bathing suits, all these pictures, and all they can think of is, I'm not taking a picture of myself and putting it out on social media like that. So right away, I just alleviate that, and I say, listen, my kids, when they're at college, send me pictures of themselves in sweat clothes. That does not matter unless you're going for the $25,000 grand prize. I wear my workout clothes or whatever I happen to be wearing that day. So don't stress about that. And the other thing people worry about is the 200-word essay. So I breeze over that so quickly. And I just say, I say you have to submit your before photos, 16 weeks later your after photos, and fulfill the requirements. And when you do, you get a $200 product coupon, and you can do this 3 times a year. And the lady I talked to tonight about it, I was enrolling someone for someone else tonight, she was like, oh my gosh, that is so awesome. So you're saying I can get $600 a year in free products just for being a customer? Absolutely. And once I do that, that gets them open to hearing more. And then I just briefly go into referral rewards. I don't share the whole compensation plan with someone. I don't tell them how when they max out their first center, they can open up a second center and go on and on and on, and how they can become an Isagenix millionaire. But I want them to know that the opportunity is there for them when they have results on the program. I do the Susan Sly thing. This works for me, and it has for years. When you have results, Lauren, from being on the program and people start to notice, I want you to remember that we have a very generous referral reward program. And Isagenix will actually reward you financially for anyone that you refer to the products. You don't have to do the business like I do. I know you're so busy with being a nutritionist and waitressing and bartending and blah, 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 blah. So you probably don't have time to squeeze this in. But I want you to know we can get your products paid for. Is that something you're open to? And I've never had anyone say no. You know, they're not, some say to me, I'm not interested in doing the business. Like, I could never stand up and do a sip and sample like you do. I can't stand up in front of a room. Oh my gosh, you don't ever have to do that to be able to share with a couple people and get your products paid for. So I think if you really try to ease people from the worry of an IsaBody challenge and putting on a swimsuit, let them know they don't need to do that. The worry about having to get up in front of people and do this as a business, when most people are really tapped out. There's a ton of people that feel like they have no time in their life, no room for taking on something else, but there's a ton of people who really, really need the financial aspect of it, that really would be blessed by free products, that really would be blessed by $500 a month in extra income. So that's what I do with everyone.
Okay, awesome. I love it. I love it. I actually typed in the Susan Sly's verbiage there in the chat for you guys that didn't catch that. So when I was talking to you about some of the things, especially gearing up for the 90-day action plan, which most of us are just, our first 2 or 3 weeks of coming back from Nashville and launching this, you had shared with me a couple things. Number one, that you're having a lot of your builders, especially anyone who had plateaued, going back and doing the new associate interview with everybody. I would love for you to chat with that. And then also you were talking about having your leader and builders send their 90-day form from the IsaLife Success Manual to you.
Yep. When I do coaching calls with people, individually coaching calls, or group coaching, I have them send me their goal sheet, because to me that, how can I help them if I don't know their goals? So they all send me just a snapshot of their goals. So I have that, and I keep track of what people's goals are. And then each week on our calls, I try to leave them with something to do as an action, whether it be, right now, when you send me that matrix, I'll probably put that into place. I had someone, Carrie Michaels did a call with us, and she had a great matrix. So that was their goal for a couple of weeks, was to do that matrix every day. And if they did that matrix every day, their name went into a drawing for a prize. And I love to do prizes and incentives and things like that, because the bottom line is, they could have all the training in the world. They can listen to all the top leaders. I've brought on some amazing people onto these calls, but if they don't get into action after the call is done and walk away with at least one tangible thing that they can implement into their business right away, they won't grow, and their leadership won't grow, and they won't build leaders. So I'm all about that. I've got a lot of people that will come to me and say, I'm feeling stuck. And so that's definitely a belief I want them to say and speak out loud, and then move past that immediately. Like, I'm a big mindset person, mindset coach, and we want to move but beyond that. But just like we need to get to the heart of someone's objection, why they don't want to get started with the business, with the products, is it too expensive, or their spouse, or whatever their objections might be. We need to do that with the business too. So we need to figure out, why are they feeling stuck? So when I figure that out, most often we have a lot of people that, Eric Worre calls you a super enroller if you've enrolled 5 people. So Lauren would be a super, super, super duper enroller. But for those of you that have enrolled 5 people, he considers you a super enroller. So if you've got people and you're looking in your back office under personally enrolled and you're seeing 0, 0, 0, 0, those are people it's never too late to go back and connect with. If they're red and terminated, that means you can re-enroll them. You can get Disney points for them. So revisit with them. Get that new associate checklist out and check in with those people. See if they'll hop on the phone with you for 15 minutes so that you can see what their goals are. How have they changed? Maybe your call and you're reaching out to them to try to get on the phone with them they've been waiting for you. And this happens often when someone will send out a message, hey, I just got back from conference and we were trained on this new associate checklist. And I know I haven't talked to you in a few months, but I would love to hop on the phone for 15 minutes and revisit what your goals are and see if maybe I can do a better job serving you and helping you achieve your goals, making it all about them. They get on the phone with you, and this just happened. My son was at our house last week. We had a smoothie bowl party, and right after the party was over, he was in the kitchen and he had a team call. And one of the guys that was on the team call had kind of gone, hadn't been on calls and hadn't been engaged for a while. And Tyler did the new associate checklist with him and got him back engaged, back on calls, and back going again, revisited what his why was, what his goals were. So super important to do that. I don't discard people if they stop ordering. I don't discard them if they are T and red in the back office. I set my Hit 'em Up app. I don't know if you guys use this app, Lauren, on your team, if you've talked about that, but I've been telling my team to get ready for the big shake drop that's supposed to be happening Thursday this week. So I got that all ready, and I sent out messages to all of my T's, to every single person, whether they are red in my back office, if they are yellow and waiting on renewals, whatever color they are, they got a message, because I don't want to prejudge that they might not be waiting for my message, and what they see in my message, maybe it's a shake flavor that gets them excited. Maybe it's our fall group. So I did a message about the I call it our Amazon Prime shipping, because I love what we're doing with our ISA delivery. So I talked about that. I mentioned a shake drop later this week. I mentioned our fall all in challenge. So I did all of these things, hoping that maybe some of these people that I haven't heard from in a long time are ready to come back. So always doing that on top of all of the things you heard Lauren saying about enrollments, because I can't just focus on the people that I've already enrolled. I can't do that, because sometimes that's like dragging the dead. Some of them will come back and they'll be so grateful that we didn't give up on them. I get that message an awful lot. Thank you for not giving up on me. And I always say, I'll never give up on you. So we get that a lot, but also you have to always be bringing those new people in too.
All right, Cindy. So I know we've got just about 5 minutes, and then I actually go into my team call, so I'm going to have to hop off here.
Yes.
But there was a couple more things I wanted to ask you, and I just appreciate all of you guys getting on. I know it's late on the East Coast, especially after a holiday weekend, but we talked about 3 things that I really wanted you to touch on. Number 1, how you're getting your leaders to rise up with their own contests, that you're not doing it all for your massive organization, the standards of getting on team calls, and also the no blame, no shame mindset that you talk about, because I think this is so important.
Yeah. Okay. So leaders rising up. I love coaching and mentoring. That's like my absolute favorite thing to do. I could do it all myself, but we have a team of leaders who really, they don't need me. If I went traveling for 6 months, this team would function fine. We have so many phenomenal leaders, and that's what you really want to get into the habit of, is instead of enabling people and doing it all for them, sometimes we want to help everyone. And I am a recovering people pleaser. So for those of you that are, totally amening with me right now, I've recovered from that. But for years, I would just do it all. Sometimes it's easier just to do it yourself, right? So now I take a totally different posture with that. And my goal is, if you want to do the business, I want your people to view you as their leader. I can be their upline. They can come to me. I'm here to support them, but I want you to be their leader. I want you to be the first person that they go to when they have a question or they need something, not me. So it's all about building people up and absolutely, having them rise up. And I always say to people that you need to be the leader that you want to attract. So when Lauren says she wants Emily Vavra to fall into her business, she has to be Emily Vavra in order to attract that. And she is. So that's why she attracts great leaders. So that's what we need to think about when you're thinking about, your avatar. We're talking a lot about our avatar in our social media. When you're talking about your avatar, you have to be who you want to attract, right? So that's huge. So team calls are important. Events, no brainer. We could talk for 40 more minutes on the importance of getting to events and getting your people to events. They're non-negotiables for me. I take people very, very seriously when I'm coaching them. And oftentimes it's a requirement. I'll say, I really want to make sure you have an event on your calendar, that you're going to ICU in Chicago, that you're going to New Year's kickoff, because to me, You are absolutely worthy of my time and my coaching. If you're rising up, you're showing up on team calls, and you're going to events, I will spend time with you. You deserve it. And then no blame. This is the mindset piece of me, that you have to take full responsibility for your business and where you are right now with it. And if you're not happy with where you are right now, and you have much bigger goals for yourself, maybe you haven't achieved the goals that you set long ago for yourself, maybe you're brand new and you've got these huge, huge goals, you just have to take full responsibility for where your business is right now. Don't complain if you're on the inside of an inside leg, especially to me. You can make this business work no matter where you are placed, whether you have a sponsor. Some of you are on this call, I'm looking around right now, and your sponsor's not super engaged. That doesn't mean you can't have a successful business. You can have an amazing business when you take full responsibility for it, and you step up and you do the action. Do everything that you learned tonight. You got some great tips, guys, on meeting new people, on connecting with new people, getting out behind the computer, going out and meeting people, go to meetups, go to networking events. You got some great tips on meeting and connecting with people, on asking for the objection, actually coming out and asking for it. And Lauren, I saw one of the comments was, you make that sounding direct so easy. You can do that too. We can be direct, but yet say it in a loving, kind way. Lauren never comes across abrasive when she talks like that. It's loving. She wants people to know. She wants to get to the heart of what's holding them back. How can she help them if she doesn't get to the heart of what the objection is? So take some of these tips, and if you can walk away with one tip from her and one tip from me, put it into action tonight and get busy. Make this week amazing. Guys, you have free enrollment this week. You've got a shake drop this week. This should be a massive, explosive week for you. Absolutely. So I hope that answers your questions.
Awesome. Thank you, Cindy. Thank you, guys. Feel free to reach out at any time. And I know this will not be our last call that we do together. So love you, Cindy. Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Lauren. Right now. You're the absolute best. We all love you.
See you guys at Disney.
See you there.